everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout, and this one is still using the February kit, and I'm down to my scraps. I think the only full sheet of paper is that green polka dot, green and white polka dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the scraps that I have left, and there's a lot of papers that I don't even have scraps left, that I've used up every single piece of pattern paper that I had for that paper. So I'm just going to go through, and some of them I don't have big strips, but I'm basically cutting it in about 3 different sizes: 1-inch strip, 3/4, and about 1/2 inch. And then I'll do like I did in the past months there, and I'm just going to do stripes. And the first month I did horizontal, and then the second month I did diagonal, and this month I'm going to do vertical, just so that it looks different. And actually, while I was doing this one, I thought of another way that I can use these strips of paper, and I'm going to use it next month. I have to write it down because I have a great memory, as long as I don't have to remember it too long. I have too much on the brain, too many things to remember. So I'm going to write it down so I don't forget next month of what I want to do. So I literally go through all my paper and just cut down, and even that grid paper, all I have is this little strip. And again, I go from 1/2 inch to 3/4 to 1 inch. And my video is freezing here while I'm video recording, so hopefully it doesn't mean that it stops recording. It hasn't done that in a while, and I was getting really excited that I didn't have to record everything 6 times before I actually was able to upload it. And it's so much easier to get videos uploaded when you don't have to record it 10 or 15 times. So it took me a few minutes, probably 10 to 15 minutes, to get all these strips. Between 10 and 15. And then the next layout that I have coming up too, I'm going to do the hexagons. And what I ended up doing, instead of having everything recorded, I just put my timer on and I cut. Anyway, I'll get to that when I get to that page. So at this point, I have all my strips done up. And like I said, I did it in 3 different sizes. So now it's easier to match up the strips. The last time I wasn't really paying attention what size strips I was doing. And then when I came to put everything together, nothing was kind of going together because all the strips were really all different sizes. This time I was a little bit more conscientious of that, and it made it a whole lot easier to get the strips going, the page going, once I started matching up my strips. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. I just I was grabbing them and just seeing, okay, I did a large strip, a small strip, medium, and then started all over again. And so I don't want them all to be long strips, so I'm cutting them in different lengths. And some of them I have 3 strips or 4 down one row, and then I just make sure that the divider is not in the same spot. And really, once the photo is there, it really doesn't matter, because the photo does end up using up a lot of the space. But at the time I'm doing this, I don't really know that yet, how much room that the picture and the embellishments are going to take. So I'm just going through it again, all my papers, and figuring out where I'm going to put it. And this is actually layout 23 of 50 for that Facebook challenge, and I will put a link down below. And this layout took me 1 hour and 7 minutes. And this is also layout 23 for my February kit, front row from Studio Calico. So like I said, I know I have one more coming up with this kit, and I'm looking at the scraps right now, and I still have quite a few scraps. I can't believe that I still have that many scraps, and I got 23 pages done. So I'll probably try to, get a page or so left. I'm just almost at the point that I am over this kit and I can't wait to start with the March kit. And I mean, I already have my May kit here, so I got to try to speed it up here and, get through my kits and get to the next kit. But my March kit, I didn't get all the add-ons just because I couldn't, because my grandson was in the hospital and the connection wasn't good, so I was only able to get one add-on, I believe. So hopefully it means that I'll be able to get through that kit a little faster, because I'm in the next little bit I'm doing quite a bit of overtime, so I won't have as much free time. But I'll try to get through these kits. So now I'm using my Scotch quick dry adhesive, and I love this glue, but there's one thing about that glue is once it's down, it's down. It's not forgiving. It's not like ATG. Once it's down, it's down. With ATG, you can remove stuff and, rip it up and then put it down. With this, you can't. Like it just rips your paper. So at this point, I noticed that my strip is just not the same size. So I just, instead of taking out my cutter, I just use my pair of scissors and just bring it down to size. So it's just a great way to kind of showcase a lot of the papers that were in this month's kit. But like I said, a lot of papers, I would say at least 8 to 10 pages. I don't have any scraps at all, to use. So I feel pretty good about using up all the scraps, even though I still have lots there. So it was about this point that I thought of the other idea that I have for these strips, but it was too late because, like I said, with that Scotch dry adhesive, once it's down, it's down. So that's okay, because next month I won't even have to think about it. I'll just know exactly what I want to do, and I'll just get it done. So as you can tell, the strips, I don't make it so that it ends perfectly with either the top or the bottom of the page, and then I don't have to worry about it being square or anything. I'm just gonna, once everything is down, I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm going to just chop it all off at the top and the bottom. So at this point, I thought I had enough that I had chosen, but once I started putting, everything glued down, I had actually like a whole strip missing. So I just went through the rest of my papers and figured out what colors I wanted. So this is where I flip it over and just cut it down. And then once that is done, everything is kind of neat after that. And those little papers, I just threw all those out because I didn't want to keep them around. So this is a picture of a mama gorilla, and this was taken at Toronto Zoo, which is a zoo in Toronto, Ontario in Canada. It's a wonderful zoo, and every time we go to Ontario, we always go to the zoo. My kids must have gone there, 6 or 7 times, and it's a whole day that you visit the zoo. Anyway, there was this mama gorilla and a baby gorilla, and we must have stood there in front of their habitat and watched them for at least 45 minutes. It was just so cute. Like, he was just being, you say to your kids, a little monkey. Well, he was just being a little monkey. He was climbing all over her, and she was pushing him away. And then he'd come over, and it's almost like he was snuggling her, and then she'd hug him and, do the mama gorilla thing, and then she'd push him away again, and then you could tell after a while she was like, okay, I have enough of you, and then she'd walk away, and he'd chase her, and then he'd be dangling from not a branch, but the stage that they were on, and wasn't a stage, but it was sort of like that they could climb up on. And it was just so cute, and literally we stood there for 45 minutes and watched them interact, and the kids thought it was just great. So that little space on the side there with the journaling, and this was one of the scraps that I had used and kind of smushed the ink on and punched out some clouds, and I thought it was kind of neat that it was just kind of coming out on the side, so I didn't even try to cover it up. I just kind of left it there. And then there was a little spot on the bottom that was still punched out from the cloud, but I figured I'd just cover that up. So I'm just going through some of my embellishments, and I decide to go with red embellishments. And then those basic gray buttons, I believe it was basic gray, or was it basil? I think it was basic gray buttons. Anyway, there was 3 of them that came in the kit, and I'm going to use them all on this page. So a lot of it was from the digital kit, and I took one and cut it in half, and one was called Today Was Awesome. So I put it at the top left and the bottom right, and then I cut up a doily and I put it underneath. And then the title is just going to be Mama Gorilla, and the mama is going to be with some thickers that we got in the kit, and then Gorilla is also the foam thickers that came in the kit. So the black and white one, I really liked them, but it was actually the first time that I used them in 23 pages. So I was really glad that I was able to use it. So now I'm going to start gluing everything down. And I kind of kept the embellishments to around the photo because the background is really quite busy. So even if I would have put something at the top, at the layout or the bottom, it probably would have kind of blended in. So I just kept everything around the photo. So I did my 3 embellishments around the photo, and then I start gluing everything down, and again with my Scotch adhesive. And then I had punched out that butterfly. I had, again, taken some ink on some vanilla cardstock and just kind of smooshed it out and punched it out. And I had it left over, so I just used it on this page. And then I had the other butterfly that I was punched out of that embossed paper. That was my favorite paper, the pink and the red. And then I want one more butterfly, and I'm going to punch it out, and it's just from a scrap from the kit, and it almost matches the top butterfly. Like it was just a perfect match, even though I didn't use the same ink. So this ticket also came in the kit, and I just put it there at the bottom left. And then there was a little tag that came in with some of those buttons, and it just said sweet. So I'm just going to put that right next to the button. And then I'm going to take out my foam tape, my giant roll of foam tape, and I'm just going to cut little strips so that I can put it in behind the butterfly's wings so that it looks like it's flying away. And I'm going to do it to the other bigger butterfly too. And then, I don't know if this is the part where, this is where I'm going to punch out a little butterfly to put on the 3rd embellishment. And then I'm also going to put a piece of that washi tape. And I had a comment wondering who made this washi tape, and I just haven't had a chance to respond to the comment. And now I tried to look for it the other day and I couldn't find it. So if she's watching this video, it's Alison Kreft from Webster's page. So that's where that's who made this washi tape, and I got it at 2 peas in a bucket. So now I'm going to work on the title, and I'm just going to put it at the top of the journaling block, only because if I would have put it anywhere else on this page, it would have totally blended in and wouldn't have been able to see it because the background is really super busy. And those foam thickers, I really like them because you can spell out pretty big words in a very tight spot because the letters are very thin and long. So I really love those letters. They're becoming one of my favorites. And as you can tell, there's quite a bit gone from just this month. Let me see if I can see what font it is. I know it came in the kit. It's the journal font, Diana, and it's kind of a black glittery foam thicker. And then at this point I decide to sew on the buttons, and I'm going to sew on 2 of them, and then my thread's going to run out, and I'm going to try and thread the needle on camera, and it just doesn't work. I have such a hard time threading the needle, and I know I said in one of my last videos that I was going to go get one of those needle threaders so I could quickly put it through, and I still haven't gone to Walmart. And I've gone to Walmart since, but I just keep forgetting, so I need to make a list on my phone so when I go that I don't I don't forget about it. So I just give up, and then I end up doing it off camera, and then I do end up sewing on that third button. And then I decide to put some red twine at each butterfly, so it looks like the butterflies are flying away. And then so it's at 3 different spots. Okay, I'm back. I all of a sudden start coughing. I couldn't stop. And so I just stopped the recorder, and I didn't want to start all over again, because all I had left was 1.5 minutes of recording. There was no way I want to record all that over, so I just kind of did the thing where I could just start over where I had left off before I started coughing like a mad woman. So at this point, I just put the date at the bottom right where I had put one of those. I cut the tag in half, and then I took out, I think it's called Inky Black from Studio Calico, the Mr. Huey. And then I try again to put that thread into my needle, and there was just no way, so I'm just going to give up and do it all off camera. And I tried putting some glue on the top, and then it just made it too thick, and I couldn't get it through it, and I just gave up. So I'm just going to show you some close-ups, and then I did do the journaling once I was done, because at that point I looked at my camera, the battery was gonna die. So, and here's a few close-ups of the layout, and the page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.